Mitchell Renz here, Broncos breakdown, and we're talking a little bit about some trades here. Could they potentially trade up with the Miami Dolphins? So there's a report out there that Miami has been receiving calls about trading the number 6 pick. The report is basically in regards to if Miami has got a really awesome offer on the table, sure, they'll listen, which is a smart thing to do. Now, the Broncos side of it is this. They are always, or I should say, they have been linked to trading up because Drew Lock's good, but can you upgrade? That's the biggest question. If you're Denver and you feel like you can upgrade at the quarterback position, you go ahead and do so, right? Because the quarterback market right now, at least in the draft, there's some talented players out there. And no disrespect to Drew Lock, I don't know if he's as talented as some of the guys that I think could go in the top 10. So speak your mind, and the way I want you to do it is by liking the video. Do you think that Denver should trade up for a quarterback? If you're like, you know what, man? Yeah, they absolutely should. I want you to hit that thumbs up right now. If you're like, no, Drew Lock's okay, he's the guy, we can stick with him, you don't need to like the video, but I want you to go down in the comments and tell me why. Now, when I look at the top quarterback prospects, let's be real. Trevor Lawrence, off the board. Zach Wilson, I believe he's off the board of the Jets. Whoever the quarterback that gets end up picked at number 3 for the 49ers, which if I was a betting man, probably going to be like Mac Jones, but in a bubble, right? Like, it's hard to be able to predict the future. But let's just say Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or Mac Jones, one of those 3 quarterbacks slides down the board a little bit. Okay. Now, does Denver pull the trigger and go ahead and pick somebody up? So what I want you guys to do is this. Out of the 4 quarterbacks that you see on screen, who is the best quarterback? If you think it's Drew Lock, type DL. And if you're typing DL, then there's no reason to go ahead and trade up for one. If you think it's Justin Fields, type JF. If you think it's Mac Jones from Alabama, I want you to go with MJ. If you're going to go with Trey Lance, I want you to type TL. Now, obviously, I wouldn't be doing a very good job if I was sitting up here and said trade, 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 and didn't give you an idea of what it could potentially cost the Denver Broncos to trade up with Miami. So here it is. This is from the trade value chart, and if you guys don't know what it is, it basically awards prices for every single pick. So the trade that you see on screen here is 100% fair and legit and very accurate to what it would actually cost Denver. So the Broncos, they received the number 6 overall pick. They also get a 3rd round pick, 81 overall. The Dolphins, they get the 9th, the 40th. So that means they would have 5 picks in the top 50, which is very good for them. And then a nice little, it's actually a 6th round pick at 191 overall. So that would be the trade idea for the Broncos going up with the Miami Dolphins. So that's just something to keep in mind there. So with the Broncos potentially trading up, okay, this is going to be something that we continue to talk about here. It's going to be something that we continue to discuss because until Denver can figure out whether or not Drew Lock is the guy, it's going to continue to come up here, right? So if you think they're going to trade up with Miami, let me know down in the comment section. The Lawnmower 3.0, it is available at Manscaped, and it is by far my favorite product that Manscaped offers. Go to manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping on the best way to shave your Nathan Peterman. Now, this thing over here, it's not my hand, but basically, you're gonna see how well it can fit in your hand. Awesome power button there. It works great in the shower and 8-hour battery life, and it is 100% waterproof. I don't want to say that this has happened, but I'm a very honest person. There was one day I was shaving my downstairs, and I dropped it in the toilet. Not my greatest moment, but I was able to reach in. Luckily, there was nothing in there. Pulled it out, and the thing still worked just fine. Like, they have very, very high-quality products at Manscaped. Luckily for me, also, they had changeable blades, so I could just get rid of the blade, and then I could use a brand new one on my face. Because imagine shaving your downstairs toilet water with your face. I mean, that's just acne 101. But bottom line is this. Manscaped's got unbelievable products. We use them here at Chat Sports. If you don't believe me, I literally post about Manscaped all the time on my IG. It's manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. Let's talk about Justin Fields here on Broncos Breakdown. And is it Fields or bust? And what I'm talking about is this. The Denver Broncos have been rumored to trade up for a quarterback in round 1. In my personal opinion, you either go with Justin Fields or you don't trade up at all. Am I the biggest believer in Drew Lock? No, I'm not. However, why not give Drew Lock at least one more year? There is a lot of talent around there, and I would actually argue Denver has one of the more sneaky offenses and sneaky overall rosters in the entire league. The other part of me is this. If Justin Fields can be a legit quarterback, where I'm talking like somebody in a year from now, you're like, okay, he won Rookie of the Year. This is a guy that you're trying to build your team around. You're going to be feeling pretty good about it. He's got all the attributes. He's played well in the big games. Now, sure, he's got a few bad games, but who doesn't? But if you believe that Justin Fields is an upgrade over somebody like Drew Lock, maybe you go ahead and do it. The other part of looking at the numbers right now for Lock, you're like, well, the offensive line wasn't 100% healthy. He wasn't 100% healthy last year. He didn't have Cortland Sutton. And I don't know if it would be 100% fair to Lock and to the actual organization unless you have KJ Hamler, Cortland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton out there, also a guy like Noah Fant, also Jerry Jeudy. If all your options aren't out there, how fair is it to Lock? Plus 2020 in a nutshell, I think we would all agree, was an absolute shit show. So can you really say Drew Lock isn't a good quarterback because of the short sample size we've seen? Maybe. Also, I think the other reason why there's just so much pressure on Denver is because in their division, there's some pretty talented quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, whether you want to say it or not, top 3 quarterback in the NFL, arguably the best. Derek Carr, there's a lot of people split on him, but I still think he's a top 12 quarterback. Justin Herbert, he might not be a top 12 quarterback right now. Dude just won Rookie of the Year, and he's definitely projecting his way to having a solid career. And then you have Drew Lock. The only thing that realistically is holding back this Denver Broncos team, I think, from being a legit Super Bowl contender is a QB. And if you already had a recipe where you can bring in a veteran like a Peyton Manning and win a Super Bowl, maybe you go ahead and do that. Or, since you spent a lot of money in free agency and you spent a lot of other pieces out there, maybe you bring in a rookie and try to bring around him. So can Drew Lock take the Broncos to the playoffs? Type Y for yes, type N for no. The reason why I'm going to bring this question up is this. It's simple. If you're sitting there saying that, hey, Drew Lock can take you to the playoffs, you don't trade up for a quarterback. If the answer is no, then you go ahead and you take a quarterback right now because this Denver team is ready to win now. That defense is legit. I like a lot of the moves they made in free agency. That offense, it's built. Sure, it's young, but there's a lot of talent out there. So if you're sitting there saying like, hey, this Broncos team, they can't win with Drew Lock, then you just get rid of the quarterback right now. You try to figure out a way to start competing ASAP. If you're sitting there saying, you know what, I think that they can win with a new quarterback, then you go ahead and make the move. So go down in the comments. Let me know if you think that Drew Lock can win and get to the playoffs. Type Y for yes or type N for no.